Hey everybody, welcome back. We're doing another Marvel Future Revolution video. In this one, I'm going to be looking at what do players want? What are they looking for from NetMarble for this game? I talked to a couple players. Some of them just kind of checked in with their communities. I'm going to dabble on that a little bit. I might do something a little bit more formal with this at some point. Depends. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on these ideas or things that maybe aren't hit in this video, because we're kind of at the point where a lot of people are like, well, I need to see what the future holds. I need to know what they're doing. And I kind of agree. It's like, what is the future? Is the future simply just kind of reoccurring things, or there's going to be new content? And that helps people decide what they want to do as spending in a game. So I think it behooves NetMarble and players to know or provide that information so that everybody can be on the same page as far as how this to make decisions going forward. So we're gonna dive into that right now.
Bring me WolverThor!
When talking about what players want, one thing I want to say first is that I am not pretending to speak for every player. These people are not pretending to speak for every player. These are comments that some people put together about things they want. Even if they did survey every player, the comments that would be reflected in either in what they put together or what I will say will never encompass every single player, and not every single player would agree with that list. So having said that, try not to rage if your ideas aren't on here or if these ideas you don't like, etc. Instead, let me know which ones you think are either good or ones that you think are missed in the comments below or in the Discord. So I want to, first off, I like to start off with Korea, because what I'm seeing with NetMarble and Korean gaming is that they really care about the Korean player base. It's their most important foundation. It's critical. And as a global community, I think we need to understand where developers are based out of. And that's one thing that's important. So here, they clearly care what Korean players think. And at the same time, there's a lot of money coming in from North America and Europe. So there's different pieces, but they always seem to hear and listen to what the Korean player base has to say. So shout out to, I'm just going to call him B10 for now. So thank you for putting that together. I also want to shout out to the people on the Raft server, the Vision Core server. This sort of like a joint statement. Specific alliances on the Raft is Star, One Above All, and sorry if I messed this up, I apologize, Changwon Busan, and Flower, and Viper. From the Vision Core from the Vision Core server, these alliances are Universe. Again, if I messed this up, apologize. Bazirak, MCU, Flex, Awesome, Dakdu, and Assemble. So there's a coalition of 12 alliances here. 12 Korean alliances, 2 servers that this came from, which in my mind is a pretty impressive thing. So I appreciate you all taking the time to put this together and sending it to me and letting me potentially, try to reflect this on to NetMarble. So we'll see. So the things that they were talking about: open report on the present state of current MFR work team. 100% agreed. They talked about Korea and global, developers and non-developers, past and present plans for the future. So what that means, as far as I interpret, is like what they maybe had for the future and then what they're currently planning for the future. So I really like this one because it gives us an information on what the plans for the game are. And personally, as a gamer and someone who's thinking about investing in this game, this is critical. Now, I understand not telling us every little detail, but if you know you're going in maintenance mode, or you know that you've only got 5 developers and 2 communications people, that gives the player base an indication on what your investment is. So if you want investment from the player base, you need to make investment on your side and actually be upfront and forthright in what that investment is. So I really like these ideas. I think it's important to be upfront with that and share with the player base. Short and long-term management blueprint. This includes any potential shutdown in the future due to insufficient revenue. This ties right in with the point that they just made. I love this. This is giving everybody an idea of what are your long-term plans with this. Give me the information so I can make a decision on what I'm investing in game. Because if you don't give me this information and then you change something or close the game down, Now I feel like I have maybe been taken advantage of. And I think that that's in both parties' best interest to avoid that. That's my terms, not theirs. Host an open discussion with the users, both Korean and global. If simultaneous open discussion is not available, split the event based on territories. 100% agreed. I think it'd be great to have some sort of open live stream, whether it's with a developer, a communications rep, somebody from Marvel Games. Obviously Danny Ku's been involved with this. I like this idea. I know these can be difficult, but the person there can maybe give in some wiggle room to what they can and can't answer. And let's be real, like anybody who's done this for a minute can see a tough question and go, you know what? I appreciate that question. It's something I'm going to take back to the team and I'll get back to you on it to see if I can answer. But right now I can't. That's it. So I like that idea. It's fantastic. Will they do it or not? We'll see. Constant and regular communication through dev notes. What a decent idea there, right? Even if it's as simple as, hey, we don't have a dev note this month. Just keep enjoying the stuff that we got. That's what you're getting for the next month. You know what? Sometimes that holds people, okay, I know what I'm getting from next month. Good to go. Next up, we've got swift feedback based on user commentaries to fix bugs and in-game improvements. I do think this is nice. Now, I'm a little bit worried about their ability to deliver on this one because of the fact that they cut down some of their staff, but I do like this, especially when it's, critical bugs or something that really affects the user interface with the game or the gameplay. I will say that it seemed like some Omega War issues happened a week or two ago, and they seemed to be repaired within a day, so that was pretty good. We believe that NetMarble is obliged to provide sufficient services based on the time and money the users have invested and will be investing in the future. And this, to me, hammers home everything that's above. I wholeheartedly agree that this is something that NetMarble is obliged to do, and I think that it's important for them to follow through on that engagement. I understand that things change. I understand that quarterly statements come out and you might have to adjust your teams, etc. But it is important that you provide these services. It is important that you provide this information to your player base that is paying money, spending time, or potentially looking to continue spending money on a game that they think might last for a while. So that's what these guys have from the Korean group. Again, shout out to those guys. Appreciate you, all males, females, anybody who put together on this. I don't want to just say guys necessarily, but I guess that's a loose term, right? So Star, One Above All, Chengwang Basan, Flower, Viper, Universe, Basarak, MCU, Flex, Awesome, Doctu, and Assemble. Thank you for that. Next up, we've also got some folks in the South American community, which I want to mention. So now this is based on some of the replies that my guy Player One gets down in the South American region. It's a little bit more condensed, so there's a couple things here. The first one was PvP, a problem since the start, and it's just not balanced. It's not a fun thing. I talk about this a little bit in some of the videos that I go into as well, where it just doesn't feel good to get kind of stomped. So that's where I like really making compartmentalized PvP zones. And if there are not enough people in that, I'm gonna make up a number, like from the 500,000 to 1 million range, then you need to put in smart bots in that until someone gets past that threshold. And then they can go from the 1 million range to the 1.5 range. And then if there's only 2 people in there, insert a bunch more bots so that they can fight. And just understand that that's the way they need to gauge. The other part that he had here, I will state it, is that they want to increase their base with going to PC in 32 bits. While I like this and it's beautiful and I think it's a great idea, I think given the state of the game right now, it's not necessarily realistic, but I did want to mention that was one of the comments that they had specifically in their servers. So next up, what I want to talk about from my guy, I hope he doesn't mind, but Nep had some ideas that would potentially be decent with this, and I think these are pretty solid, so I'm gonna go over these as well. Okay, so this one is broken up a little bit where we're looking at free to play, Dolphins, Light Spenders, Krakens. These are things that you can do to improve the game. Some of this stuff I want to talk about more for free to play, more opportunities to farm fodder and gold. And generally, I think that, and there's more to this in here, but that's the high level part of it. I think that could go to, most people in game, but I think it would be good for free to play to do that. And this is all a NEP as well. NetMarble does need to realize that this does not cost them anything, and it only pushes the competition bar forward, right? So I think it's a good idea. No one's going to gain competitive advantage because everyone would be getting them. So I think it would be good. And even like, you know, a whale or a kraken might decide, you know what, I don't care to go do this. I don't have the time to go do this. So free to play, if you've got the time, go to do it. Higher success rates in all RNG based progressions. And I will say, and more opportunity to improve the odds. The failing, whether it's specializations, core combinations, rerolls. I mean, talk about just dejecting. You know, I love the card system that they've got now, and it's, or the card that you can reroll stats. It's much better. It'd be even better if you could lock a stat in, so that you could eventually get to the point where you want to get. And it's because there's just so many things you can get in this game. It'd be nice if they took some of that out. There's just stacks of RNG on RNG. Smart bots for PvP, mentioned that earlier. Dolphins and light spenders, more cheap options in the store. This needs to be items and options in store for under $10 and perks to appeal to light spenders. I totally agree. Everything that's in the store that's under $10 or $10 or cheaper is just not worth spending money on. It is not worth it. It gets you nowhere. You want to spend $10 and feel like I got something out of this. Right now they don't have that. More ways to encourage multiple alts, increasing fodder and gold will help. One big one is that the invasion should always be up. Literally, why do we not have an invasion right now? There's no reason. I know people came back. I said this in my last video for Wolverine, and they missed all these special badges. They're like, when are invasions coming back? And we're like, I don't know. You know, and they're just like, why am I playing this? And I'm like, it's a great game. It's fun. I love it. You know, it is good. So I like that, but it's something that should always be going and running. So there should never be more than a couple weeks without one. A central hub to see and move around all your gear, badges, cards. I've mentioned this in the past as well. An easy way to move things around, quality of life, because it is a serious pain in the butt to do that, and people will just be like, you know what, I don't care. I'm not going to waste my time because I've got to move all this thing around on all my alts. I've mentioned before having a squad-based card set. That's not a bad idea. Why don't you do that? You know, I understand that might be harder with squad battles, but squad battles should frankly have its own separate like server, you know, where it's like whatever skills, specializations, cards are just set for that one by itself, and it doesn't change when you do anything else. For Krakens, extend content. Game modes like Battle Challenge and Alliance Raid should be extended to challenge the top end players. You can even extend them indefinitely to see how far you can go. Now, I like that for Battle Challenge. I'm a little loose on that one personally for Alliance Raid. I would like to see it a little bit more with Alliance Raid because it could challenge some of the top end Krakens for sure. Definitely like it for raids. I definitely like it for whatever raids and blitz should be. They should make that way harder. Titles for World First. Mentioned this a long time ago. Why is that not in there? It's literally text in a game. Put a little icon above somebody. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so simple. Title, and he's got all this on here. Titles for ending the week in first place for certain game modes. Dimension Duel, Omega War, Squad Battle, etc. How come like a little triangle above your head just that you have for a week? Because you got, you know, you won Dimension Duel. And guess what? Maybe there's, you know, a mega triangle that you could get if you were first in all of them. You know what I mean? And it's just super rare. But that's something that's so easy to do that says if this person equals first in these 5 things, then put triangle, super triangle above their head. You know, I talked about world first glowing auras too, stuff like that. I don't know why it's not there. Squad battles needs to be improved a ton. He talks about the UI and stuff. That's a whole nother video. Dimension box, it should, what they're running right now essentially should always be what they're running. This should be the floor, not the ceiling of this. It should be permanent. World leaderboards, population dwindles. You're going to want people fighting with each other, competing with each other. Like, oh, look at this person over on this server. Definitely like that a lot. And then he has this for everybody, communication. Communication is so key. I think that I don't understand why there's not more of it. It is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I don't understand this. And it's not just with NetMarble. This is probably the worst I've seen given the status of where things are at. But even if it's as simple as, hi, we're still alive and working. And then I want to throw one more out there before I finish this up is Massdoras, who, if you're not on the Discord, you, or if you are on the Discord, you totally know what I'm talking about because Massdoras seems to be on there often. And I find a lot of their ideas seem to be pretty good. And I took this from one of his YouTube comments. So I thought it was great and I wanted to bring this up. The amount of fixes this game needs, he could write a book. But actually, I don't know if it's a he or she now that I think about it. So if Massdoras could write a book. But basically, it comes down to increase fodder, decrease cost, reduce RNG, add bots to fill low population in game and PvP. We've talked about those, right? All here again. In addition, rewards on all game modes drastically improve them. Helps with fodder, etc. Stop nerfing characters. Only fix actual bugs, exploits, but do it ASAP, not several months down the road. The thing with the nerf characters, everybody talks, don't nerf, bring other things up. That's true. Now, unless something is just crazy broken, then fine, I get it. Like, you know, Captain Marvel and Spider-Man with some of those specializations that they had back in the day was pretty insane. So in situations like that, I know we lost a bunch of people, but you know, and I know some people are gonna hate this, but the bubble build, yeah, it's like, okay, there's only a small window to hit someone. It's not really like how PvP should be. Have more consistent events going on and stop the 30 to 75 day timers. That is, they just say it's just brutal. We should be getting events on a 2-week cycle constantly. Moving more, anything more and is dragging. Add legit pity systems and draw banners. DZ needs 24 opens and let players pick their time slots. Now, I don't know if I agree with that one as much, but if it is a farm fest, then yeah, what does it matter? But I do think that, in my opinion, for DZ, I think that they need to readjust it, which I'm not sure they're going to do anymore. But they should have a nighttime and a daytime or an early morning thing, because regardless of where you live in the world, you might have different shifts that you work. So I think that there should be 2. Even if you shorten the time frame, the one is now, if it's 5 hours now, shorten it to 3, and the other one's 3, so you get an extra hour, but they're split up. Fine. And I also think that they need to find a way to encourage combat there, because that was the most fun, but there's different videos that I could talk about that stuff. Alliance raids needs massive simplification. I agree. It takes way too long to get a 2-minute fight going. 100% agreed. It's so frustrating. RNG transmute needs to go. And here's a big one. Communicate. Communicate. Yes, that vocal cord in your throat. Use it. Start talking. Use Discord. Get on forums. Stop making the game look more dead than it has to be. Anyways, that's just some of the problems. I have so much more to say. LOL. So I want to thank everybody who sort of voiced their opinions with this. I do think that there's a lot more to be said. You could probably do long videos on each one of these, but I wanted to put this out right here, right now, because, you know, we are still sort of in this weird zone, and I wanted to get it out before I, you know, really put something more crazy out there. I don't know. I felt like I needed to put this out. I'm trying to stay positive. I want the community to stay best positive, but we can only stay positive, you know, in a certain situation. And part of that, if not most or all of it, needs to be done by NetMarble. Like Danny said in the Discord on that one video where I was mentioning it, is like, if NetMarble has anything to say, they'll say it. NetMarble, what's up? We got a bunch of gamers global here that we're talking about different ideas. You know, throw something our way. Let us think that you're alive. Let us know what's up. So if you made it this far, appreciate you. If you want to hammer down like buttons, click notification bell, subscribe, all that sort of thing, also appreciate it. Any support you want to give to the channel, thank you very much. And until next time, hope you have a wonderful day.